Hello there, Jets fans. Welcome to episode number 75 of the JetStream podcast. I am Travis Rubinik. Today is May 14th. I'm here with Neil Noonan and only Neil Noonan.
Oh, yeah.
No Joe Clark today. Obviously, this episode's coming a little later than we usually do during the week. It's been a week of scheduling hell. Joe had soccer on Monday, and I had something to do on Monday. We couldn't record Tuesday. Yesterday, Joe and I had floor hockey, and Joe had to stay late after work. Joe has soccer again. It's raining like crazy. He texts me in the middle. He's like, "Oh, this is gonna work out perfectly. I'm not gonna have soccer. They're gonna cancel it." And then he's like, "Nope, we're still playing." And I have no idea how that's possible because there's like puddles everywhere outside.
I was thinking about that today because when I played soccer, and I know it wasn't as probably high level as Joe. I played back when everyone was their own color. Oh, yeah. But yeah, if it rained, for sure.
Instantly over. Well, it's because the field gets destroyed. But whatever.
Yeah, I was at our old high school FRC an hour ago, and there was guys outside in the field playing flag football. Like a bunch of kids. They were muddy though.
Yeah,
they were a mess.
That's the good stuff though. When you're a kid and you just don't give a crap about how.
Yeah, no, I was definitely impressed.
Man, so on my way here, I have to get this off my chest.
Please.
On my way here, I listen to country music, and I know I'm going to get ragged on for it a bit. I enjoy it, but there's a country radio station out of Steinbach. No surprise there. And this is the first time I've ever really paid attention. I think I'd listened to this before. I might have mentioned this to Joe before. I was really paying attention for some reason on my way here. Just got a coffee. I'm all jacked, ready to go podcast. And I've just listened to what the I guess the DJ's voice was. Her name was Rachel Seaman. And all I can think of is you grew up your whole life with the last name Seaman. Never mind the fact that you're a female with that last name, because that's brutal enough. But anybody growing up with the last name Seaman, like, how do you not try to get that changed? And how do you willingly go into the public eye and not like that? That's confidence.
Yeah, that would be a tough. Like, when would that be a big deal? Middle school?
Yeah, as soon as kids realize what that word meant, life would be hell for a few weeks.
Oh, I think middle school would just be would be hell.
Oh yeah,
for terrible. Especially a girl, right?
Yeah.
That's really tough. I'm glad you got that off your chest.
I just don't understand. I mean, good for you. I mean, she's got to be pretty thick-skinned, and I guess she picked the perfect career for it if she's thick-skinned.
Well, I was just going to say, on top of that, she kept her name for radio.
Yeah, exactly. She didn't pick a DJ name.
Which anyone could change, right?
Exactly. Like,
big ups to her.
Yeah. I'm kind of proud of her.
Yeah,
I don't even know her.
Hey?
Like, way to go, Rachel Seaman. Congratulations.
Shout out to Rachel Seaman.
Yeah. So, Neil.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about this before, but I've noticed something very interesting on your wrist right now.
Oh my God, yeah. So that's so funny because we've talked about it on previous episodes where you were for sure going to get the Apple Watch and I said there was no way I'm going to get it. And here it is on my damn wrist.
And I don't have one, I see.
Yeah.
Yet. I will say yet. How's it been? I think you mentioned to me you're probably going to bring it back.
Yeah, but I don't want to either.
Yeah.
The price is the biggest thing, and there's three big things. The price is one of them. The second one is knowing that the second version is going to be infinitely better.
That's what's killing me with it right now.
It's going to have a front-facing camera 100%.
Yeah?
That's what they're going to sell. It's thinner. It's got a camera now, so you can do FaceTime on it. That's 100% what's going to happen. I don't know if it'll be cheaper.
Probably not. I'd be shocked.
Yeah, and the third thing, and we spoke about this a little bit when we ran into each other the other day, it's teetering the line of useful and distraction.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's one thing I have seen is it's a lot of the reviews. I've read so many reviews
So
for
have I. I've been obsessed with having it. I just want to hear what other people think and how other people feel about having it.
Yeah, and from what I've heard, it's like one of those things where you gotta find that fine point of how many notifications you leave on because you want to know, and the ones you turn off because it's too much. Like, it's not. I've heard that the vibration and stuff is really good.
It's amazing. It's not even a vibration. I call it a tap. It actually feels like someone's tapping your wrist.
But it happens every 5 minutes. And how often are you looking at your wrist and all that stuff? I think like you said, the second version of it is the only reason I'm not jumping on it right away. And I think I'm probably going to end up getting one. I know myself. I'm going to end up getting one. I think that's why I'm going to just stick with a sport. Because I think I can justify getting either the third edition. The thing is, I don't know when the next one's coming out.
Right,
And there's
yeah.
rumors here or there. Apple usually does things within a year. Unless stuff bombs, then they usually try to push it forward. And I don't think it's going to bomb, but I don't know. I just don't know the timeline on it. So.
I wouldn't be surprised if they kicked one out right before holiday season.
That would drive me crazy, though.
Like November?
Like, that would drive me
I think that would drive a
insane.
lot of people crazy, but it'll just be those small things. They're not small, but they're enough where they're just like, we've thinned it out. It has a camera.
Yeah. I think that getting GPS in the watch itself, because the big thing for me, like I mentioned before, and yes, we will talk sports eventually, but I want to, you know what? It's our podcast. It's the Jets off season. We can talk about what we want to.
People want to know about that Apple Watch, though.
I can actually turn this back into a sport conversation in a couple seconds. I have a thought. But like the big thing for me is the fitness side of that thing, and I know it's good as it is, but having to keep, if I want to go for a run, I need to use the GPS on my phone to track how far I went. Like, it has the accelerometer and all that stuff in it. That's great. If I wanted to track my distance, I still need to bring my phone. And for those of you who don't know, I have an iPhone 6 Plus, and the thing's huge. And I run within my hand now, and it's not terrible, but I would like to not have to do that. And if I wanted to track a run, I couldn't right now. And I'd be so angry if I bought one. 2 months later, they announced a new one's coming out, and it has a GPS in it. Then I would be pissed. Because then I'd be like, okay, well, this is half the reason I wanted to get one. And frick. But yeah, I feel like if I get the sport, yeah, it's expensive, but I feel like if I heard the second one was being announced, I would be able to sell the sport and get some of my money back and then buy whatever next one if it was good enough.
And that's funny you say that, because I'm starting to rationalize with myself of keeping it. I have till Saturday. I've had it for almost 2 weeks now. Keeping it, and if I need the money back, it is expensive. Like, it's $500 on my wrist.
Yeah.
If I need the money, I feel like I could still sell it.
Yeah.
For like $450, and someone will just pay for it because they can get it quick.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, rather than waiting till June or July.
Which is funny because you mentioned you got yours pretty quick.
Oh my goodness,
and that's what I've heard from most people is they've ordered it and thinking, okay, I've got a couple months, whatever, and then they get it like the next week, and they're like, wow, I was expecting this to be way.
Yeah, under promise, over deliver. Really, that's just a great example. They, when I ordered it, it said ships in June. I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, like, I'll wait for it for a month. You know, it's fine. Like, I don't need it right away. It was like a Thursday night. I remember waking up Friday morning to an email saying your Apple Watch has shipped. You'll be there on Monday.
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
I was so excited. But the fitness, I really enjoy it, actually. It's such a simple feature, but telling me to stand every 50 minutes is incredible.
Yeah. And it's a big thing for health overall, too.
You don't realize how long you sit.
Yeah.
You really don't.
Especially in an office job.
Yeah, exactly. And I've done this numerous times in meetings where I'm just like, I have to stand up, like my watch tells me, and then everyone else is like, let's all stand too.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like we've been sitting for so long.
Exactly.
And
especially with the job you do, it's a lot of people who are in a faculty or involved in fitness.
Yes.
So.
And the activity app is very simple, but I think it's very effective as well. The 3 rings where it's movement, exercise, and standing.
Yeah.
Just very, very simple stuff, but it does the right things where I've tried the Fitbit and I've tried the Jawbone Up where it didn't motivate me the way this does.
Well, exactly. And that's, again, I think I've said this on the podcast before. My justification for it is I want to get a new watch and I don't want to cheap out on the watch I get. So I'm I'm looking at a couple $100 probably already for a decent watch. But I also have wanted to get a fitness band for God knows how long because, again, that's what I've always studied. It's what I'm interested in. I want something that's going to be able to track my exercise. And anything that has an accelerometer in it is instantly going to be at least $150 off the hop. Any band that's worth its salt that even just records your movement alone is worth at least $100. So never mind one that has, and I've read stuff already on the watch that has its heart rate sensor through your wrist that is as accurate as an EKG.
Yeah,
you're looking at upwards $200, $300 alone for that. Like,
sure.
then once you put those together, I'm already at $500. So. Yeah. That's my justification for it, and I've read enough things of like there's aftermarket bands now you can buy. So
if I decide on keeping this, I'm gonna get a black leather band. I got the white rubber one, which is fine. Like I still think it looks really good.
I think my personal preference is because the way I like to go, I'd probably end up getting the black one.
Yeah,
but.
I'm gonna get a black. I was already searching on Amazon, and I can get like a black leather one. I'm assuming it's fake leather, but I don't care. But
just
like
Google
$30.
aftermarket bands; they're all over the place.
Yes, exactly. So
you're totally keeping that thing.
That's so I like the heart rate thing is another small thing, but it's amazing. Like just being able to, I'm really fascinated as far as like what my heart rate is when I wake up, after I meditate, during like whatever it may be, and when it rises and stuff. And like you said, it's so accurate, and it's, I mean, I don't know that, but it's been tested.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying that how
it's totally one of the first things, when I get one, it's the first thing I'm going to do is take, because I have the equipment available to me, so I'm going to test it as best I can and figure it out for myself. But yeah, it's and again, when I run and stuff like that, I would like to know my ranges, because then I know how I'm training and what zones and stuff I'm in and all that stuff. But again, the only hesitation for me, and a lot of the negative reviews I've read, seems like things that are fixable despite the hardware. A lot of it's like slow apps, or the third-party app developers haven't caught up to it yet. Exactly. And that stuff it's going to catch up on its own.
Oh, yeah. And it will sooner rather than later.
Yeah, because no one wants to lose out on a money-making opportunity. Everyone wants to be the first one to have the idea.
For sure. A lot of the apps right now are just small little ports of regular apps that aren't very useful. But when apps designed specifically for the watch start coming out, I think it's really going to be a game changer. And I'm a big picture guy. I always have been, and I love looking into the future and just kind of thinking of stuff like that and how things are going to change. And the more I think about this watch, the more I think everyone's going to have one, just like a phone, where this is going to open and start our cars. This is going to get us
exactly where I was going to go.
This is going to get us into our homes. This is going to turn on lights. It's going to do everything. Not just our phone does, but similar things. And the biggest thing that's going to come very soon to Canada is Apple Pay.
Exactly. And Apple Pay, getting on planes, stuff like that. Like, you can already use that thing for plane tickets. And exactly, Score Mobile, that's exactly where I wanted to go for it. Sports fans, tying this into a sport, the first thing that popped in my head with that is the Score Mobile app. Pops up, gives you scores, whatever. Imagine having the capability, which I'm sure someone's working on, where it gives you a hockey score and, X player... You had to miss Game 7 last night. Rangers Caps. Rangers score in overtime. They send you a notification. Rangers score. 10 seconds later, send you an overtime. See the goal right on your wrist right now. Don't have to pull out your phone. Don't have to connect. Well, if your phone's nearby, whatever.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about anything. There you go. Watch the goal. Done. Like, that kind of stuff would be so sweet. And like you said, going into your homes, I've been reading tons about this and like projections about where this can go and all that kind of stuff, where there people are currently developing locking devices that connect with your phone, where if your phone comes up, it's going to unlock your door. Yeah. And it's like, just sweet. It's cool. And it might scare some people, but I think it's awesome.
No doubt. It's super exciting. And the score, like we talked about this earlier, just you really have to trim down your notifications. And I thought that was like an actual good practice for me with my phone as well as the watch, where it's just like there's some things that I don't need to be notified about. Yeah, I really don't. It's like my notifications on my watch are really my messages, my phone calls, Score Mobile, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff is off. Yeah. I just don't need to know that kind of stuff. Any of the social networks, I really just don't care. I got my NBA news, Jets, Bombers news, and stuff like that. Exactly. But other than that, it's been phenomenal. The price is tough to swallow. But a lot of Apple stuff is. And I had a conversation with somebody that they didn't understand that, but they're just like, this is like, it's more than an iPhone. People don't understand they're signing a 3-year contract that takes away about like $600 of an iPhone. Like, iPhones are $1,000.
Oh yeah, they're expensive. Very expensive.
People are like, I didn't know that. But like, the more I justify it to myself, the more I do really enjoy it. I've taken it off and missed it.
Yeah, which I think is a big thing too. If you're wearing it all the time and then you take it off, some people it's just not going to be for. And I've read some reviews where like I've taken it off and I just forget I have it. Yeah, it's probably not for you. But other reviews have said yes, I have taken it off and then I feel like I need it. It's like there's people who are attached that much to their phone. I'm one of those people with my phone. If my phone's not with me, and I think that's where a benefit of a watch come in. If my phone's not right by me, I feel naked. I need my phone around because of how often I'm on it. And I think having a watch would be a nice separation for that.
That was a big thing when I got the Pebble watch last year, which was almost kind of training wheels for the Apple Watch. And the best thing the thing I loved most about it was being able to put my phone in another room. Yeah. And I don't need to look constantly opening it and just checking things, like looking at my Twitter, looking at Facebook and stuff. If something's important, it's going to come to my watch. Yeah. Right? Exactly. And if not, then I could keep my phone away and I could try and be productive somewhere else, right? Keep my phone in my room, go work in the office or whatever it may be. But yeah, it's super cool. I think it's just the beginning, and the software is going to just bloom very, very soon.
Oh yeah, and I'm one of those people. I use Siri all the time on my phone. Like when I'm getting ready in the morning, I ask Siri what the weather's like.
No doubt,
stuff like that. Like I use the Maps app. I know the city pretty well, but if for most time I'll run the Maps app just to make sure I'm going in the right spot. Having that without having to look at my phone while I'm driving would be lovely. Same thing with when I'm like on the way here. If I'm driving to go pick somebody up, just telling my watch to tell somebody I'm here rather than taking out my phone, because I'm a very impatient person, and sitting there, getting there first and then telling someone I'm here is not what I do. I wait till I'm like a block away and then tell them I'm here and work through it that way. So I don't know. I know I'm going to get one. Just waiting for it. So,
but that's huge though. Like just being able to, that's what I wanted most on the Pebble, was being able to respond. But now being able to use voice, Siri is amazing on the watch. I think it might even be better on the watch than the phone.
I've heard that too. Is that Siri as a single being, is much more. Doesn't make the textual mistakes that it does on the phone
her
sometimes.
Dictation is remarkable, and being able to text somebody back on your wrist. And I'm a big reminders guy too. On my phone,
me too.
Where it's
all
just like, remind me when I get home to like text Travis about the podcast or
the
whatever.
reason I remembered that Rachel Seaman thing is because I was sitting in my car and I told my phone to remind me about it in 10
exactly.
minutes.
So rather than picking up your phone, just going on your wrist. And another like, you don't have to press anything.
No,
you can say hey Siri, right? And then with the maps thing, you don't have to look at your phone because it does like
when you're supposed to turn,
and it can and it'll tap you like 2 times for like a right turn and once for a left turn, which is ridiculous to even think about. But
like it's one of those things where it's almost made itself where you don't have to look at it either. It's just there to tap.
Although, just precaution, like I look at this more like when it rings than I did my phone when I'm driving, because it's on my wrist. So my wrist is on, and that's pretty dangerous to go like that. So like caution while driving for sure. But I'm pretty sure I just talked myself into keeping this now after talking about it for 20 minutes.
Is that how long we've been talking about that thing? Oh Jesus! The Moose are back. Hockey news. We all knew a team was coming back. That's how long it's been since we last recorded. Is the Moose have been announced and tickets have already gone on sale.
That is crazy, because I swear we talked about it last episode. But
we did.
And
it's been like almost 2 weeks. It's been a week and a half. So obviously we don't have a YouTube video for this video. I think what we're doing over the summer is take a little bit of a step back and kind of reevaluate what we want to keep doing. I guess you could say we're kind of we're product, and we want to keep upgrading our product, and we want to kind of take a step back through the summer, think about what we need to keep doing and how we want to make this better for you guys. So sorry there's no video for this episode. I'm not sure if we're going to do video throughout the summer. We've still got to kind of talk about what we want to do. The three of us have to sit down and meet sometime, and we might be hooking up with some other website and rerouting where we supply things. Neil's got all this techie stuff for us.
If it is, like, the way I think about it is that I really do think audio podcasts are better when they're off camera, just because it's always in the back of your mind that you're on camera. And sitting down at a table, I feel like just like close proximity it just makes better audio. And it's something I can tell when I listen to podcasts, which, I mean, I'm absolutely obsessed with podcasts. It's stupid. I probably listen to 2 or 3 a day.
There's a reason you're the first guy I came to for this idea. So
but I can tell, like, specifically with like Grantland, like Bill Simmons, his entire website. You can tell when they're on video and when they're not, just by how they're talking to one another. And I find that pretty fascinating. I think a lot of people probably don't notice that, but it's something that I really key into. And I really feel like when it's just no camera, it's just a few guys in a studio, the audio content is just, the conversation flows better. And then same thing with audio visuals, right? So like if we have YouTube, like we have it on a TV or whatever, we have something, then like the product gets split between audio listeners and video listeners, and the audio listeners are probably 95-5. Right? But
I think people don't know what we're talking about and stuff like that.
Exactly, right? So, I mean, like, it's give and take. The starters, the Basketball Jones is another great example when they were an amazing podcast for 10 years, and they made it to the big show. NBA TV kind of bought their rights, and they went to work there, and they went from having a podcast to having a TV show, and they tried to do the podcast on TV, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
So now they have a TV show and then they have a separate podcast that works, but it's very hard to do one and the same.
Yeah.
But regardless,
we'll figure our stuff out.
Fans, let us know.
Yeah, let us know what you guys want. We're still going to post, I think, the audio on YouTube. So if those of you who listen on YouTube are still going to have a way to listen. Yeah, what's up, Pity? We'll figure out exactly what we want to do. We're not going anywhere. Obviously, our plan is once the season ends, we're going to cut back to one every 2 weeks because, well, there's just not enough to talk about, as you've noticed by us spending about half an hour talking about iWatches or Apple Watches and what we want to do.
While there's 2 conference...
Yeah, well, there's still hockey going on.
Yeah.
So we're gonna keep doing what we're doing, and obviously hope you guys keep enjoying it. But to the hockey stuff, Neil, the Manitoba Moose are back. What do you think of the jersey and logo?
I made my voice pretty clear on Twitter. I was waiting. Like, I forget what I was doing that day, but it was 11 a.m., 11:30 kind of like announcement, and I was like, I'm on my computer. Like, let's see what's going on here. And pretty excited they brought back the original logo because I think it's actually badass.
Oh, it's a great logo.
Disappointed with the changes they made. That they literally, like, not kidding here, they just threw a blue shader on it.
Yeah.
They just changed the colors to blue, and then...
Oh, it's seriously. It's like they just took... You almost could have made the adjustment on your... literally on your phone by just adjusting the color scheme.
Yes, exactly.
That's all they really did.
And then the primary logo on the jersey. It's funny because I was at Smitty's the other night, and they have a Moose jersey on the wall, like an old one. Mm-hmm. Looks great. And then I brought up a picture of the new one, and it's just the Moose head is so big.
Yeah.
I think it's just too big.
Yeah. I thought it was a bit big before. I wear my old Moose jersey. Like Joe and I, like I said yesterday, we had a floor hockey game. I wear my old Moose jersey because I'm the goalie and I don't want to get hit by the freaking plastic ball in their skin. Anyways, it is a big logo, but yeah, it looks like they made it bigger, which is kind of weird. The big thing for me, I don't mind that as much as that they went to the annoyingly, and I think I've said it on this podcast before, they went to the annoying pure replica of your NHL team, but not exactly. So they just
the color scheme.
They literally took the Jets jersey and threw the Moose logo on it, which I hate when teams do that. I hate it when they steal the logo, or not steal, but they use the team's logo, like the Providence Brew and stuff. I just be original. That's why I love the Hershey Bears sort of thing. Like they stuck with their original concept, even though they're with the Caps. And when teams they're a separate entity from their NHL team. They're connected just by the fact that their prospects play there. That's it. It's a separate thing. I loved that about the Moose and the Canucks relationship. I loved that True North ran it like a separate team, and I get that it's now a weird kind of situation, but I was hoping if they were going to go back to the Moose thing, they'd stick with the original stuff. That being said, I'm probably still going to buy a jersey because I want to have... Joe and I were talking about this. Like, having a Nick Petan jersey from when he's in the AHL would be sick. Connor Hellebuyck jersey from when he's in the AHL would be sick. And... all like just having to go through and the full transition, and maybe one day having a guy's jersey from when he was in the AHL and when he's in the NHL would be cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I think the only reason I'm probably gonna get one, I'm gonna wait until I know who's on the team. Because for all I know, Petan could make the Jets. But I just want to have some of those guys' names on the back of my jersey, and I know they're not gonna put those names on the old Moose jerseys because they're a money-making corporation, right? They want to make money, and they're not going to do it.
And so, you know what? Like, now that I'm thinking about it, and I'm looking at these jerseys now, there's a nice picture of Scott Komaschuk and JC Lippin.
Komaschuk.
Yeah, they were the models here. And when I see this picture, it doesn't look as big when someone's wearing it. Mm-hmm. Like the logo, and I don't. Are they gonna have the Jets patch on the end?
Yeah, the Ice Caps did that too. A lot of teams do that just to show their affiliation.
I'm coming around that. I do understand why they did that, and a big reason is obviously to sell new merchandise. I'm just a really big fan of the old color scheme, but I do understand why they did it. And the more I look at this picture, the more I think that the logo might be the appropriate size when it's worn.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, I get you. I hear you. It just, I don't know. I just don't like it's such a easy thing for them to do. And I feel like if they wanted easy, they could have just stuck with the old concept. I don't know what the bylaws and copyright infringements or whatever, it was their team. I don't see why it would be a problem. But it was like they wanted something new just to make money, but they wanted to keep the old idea because it was cool. So they were just like, let's just make it a bit blue and then we'll make money regardless and please both parties. And judging from the Twitter response, a lot of people really didn't like it. So I don't know. I think they were kind of playing.
Are they going to bring
there.
back this Happy Moose logo?
No, I think that's gone forever.
No,
I was never a fan of that.
I think it's funny.
That was from when they actually came from Minnesota. They just kept the logo. There used to be the Minnesota Moose, and then they moved.
And someone came to the table like, we need this to be more fierce.
Yeah, probably because it's way too
like,
friendly looking.
That's a smirking moose.
Oh yeah, so he's like just chilling. The big question though is what are they gonna do with Mickey Mouse? Is he just gonna he's gonna do both roles? Do they need to paint him blue now? Like
that's true. I think he's got to do both. I mean, he's a great mascot. We have some pretty damn good mascots in Winnipeg.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like Mickey Mouse, which I don't understand. I love. Mickey
Well,
Mouse.
I mean, if you're comparing them to like Buzz, Boomer, and Goldie.
Yeah.
Right, like we have some amazing mascots. If I don't say so myself,
Well, they at least make sense for the team. Like the Leafs mascot's a polar bear.
right? But how could it be a leaf at the same time?
I don't
right?
know, but it's a polar bear.
Yeah, I get it.
It's weird.
Something that you said kind of made me think a little bit. Like, how many of these guys do you think have a legit chance of making the Jets roster?
I don't know
Because like everyone keeps saying that we have the best prospect pool in the NHL.
It's a weird situation because there's a lot of spots available right now, but the Jets have a lot of UFAs, so I think that's going to play into it a lot. I don't think Batan will make the NHL jump this year because I think he does need to play. I think the Jets need to see him play against adults now. He dominated kids.
There's a
he
difference
dominated them. And as much as I like to pretend it doesn't exist, there is a size issue. He's a small guy. So I think they need to get him in the AHL just so we can get used to the size difference and see what's going on there. I think Nick Ehlers has to be in the NHL next year.
He killed it this year.
He absolutely destroyed. Like he was a man against boys. He's still got a year of junior eligibility, so he can't go to the AHL. So I think he's got a shot at the NHL this year. I think they've almost got to push him and just deal with what is going to happen there.
He was our pick after Scheifele.
No, he was 2 years because it went Scheifele, Trouba. Then I think was it Ehlers Morrissey or Morrissey Ehlers? I think it was Ehlers Morrissey.
Did Trouba jump straight to the NHL?
He was an NCAA product, so the NCAA products have to go through.
Okay,
That's the whole thing with Andrew Kopp as well, where he is now. I think next year he can go to the AHL if they want him to, but because he came from the NCAA this year, he couldn't go right down or something weird with his contract. So he's another potential guy. There's a lot of pieces that are kind of coming in and leaving, and Michael Frolik's still got to get his deal dealt with. Stafford's still a possibility. Lucy's still a possibility.
Is there any news on any of those?
Not yet. I'm thinking they're going to wait until the playoffs finish before they start making their announcements.
Yeah,
generally,
fair,
especially
for sure.
guys who are UFAs, are going to kind of wait and see, relax for a little bit, and then see what.
Yeah,
kind of
I'm jumping the gun here just because we've been out for so long, and there's 4
it feels like
teams
it's been
left
so
here.
long.
Yeah.
But yeah, we actually had a question or a comment, I guess you can say, on the website from someone who just tagged themselves as Sunshine.
What up, Sunshine?
What's up, Sunshine?
Sunshine, sunshine. I can't hear the word sunshine and not think about Sunshine from Remember the Titans.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
I'm the exact same way.
sunshine.
Sunshine commented, looking ahead, how do the Jets and Moose capitalize on each other's presence in the same city and arena and franchise? There must be very enticing and mutually beneficial events or offers or gimmicks or whatever that will maintain and increase community engagement with and interest in both franchises. How about ticket giveaways to each other's games? Okay, probably more beneficial for the Moose. Monthly open scrimmages between the two clubs, beer league style. I'll stop them making. There are marketing pros who dream this stuff up. Here's the thing. The Leafs and Marlies, again, I know this franchise very well. I follow them pretty closely. The Leafs and Marlies been in the same city for a few years now, and they don't really interact that much. I think the draw in itself is that you get to see the Jets prospects already. You don't have to wait, and they're not gone somewhere. Obviously, things still need to be dealt with overall. I'm just very interested to see who actually gets the radio contract, whether CJOB is making a push or if 1290 is going to do it, because it'll be an interesting dynamic if they both play on the same night. Like, where are you going to get those broadcasts from?
I hope CJOB gets it, to be honest.
So do I, personally.
They do they have the Bombers, do they not?
Yeah, they still have the Bombers.
Yeah,
TSN has a pregame show and whatnot. Oh, shout out to my boy Darren Bombing, who is now going to be the play-by-play guy on UMFM for the Bisons throughout this year. So check that out whenever you get the opportunity.
For the football team?
Yep, the Bisons football team. He'll be doing the play-by-play. So congrats, Darren, on that announcement today. But anyways, yeah, I would like CJOB to get it. Just I don't know who they do it with, but I feel like that would just be an interesting other voice rather than just TSN having everything.
Yes. Couldn't agree more.
Anyways, I think the big benefit from that is when you have family events or stuff like that, they'll probably have some Moose come out and be involved with that. I'd be shocked, absolutely shocked, if they ever had scrimmages with one another or anything like that, like outside of development camp when they
Does that
are all
happen
competing.
anywhere?
No, I don't think so.
I wouldn't imagine.
But what you could look forward to is the AHL also does an outdoor game. So there's 2 opportunities for that. There are more money-making opportunities for True North if enough people support the team. You get to see hockey at an affordable rate of a good brand of hockey. The AHL is fantastic hockey. Yeah. There's a good debate that the top AHL teams could probably take the worst NHL teams.
Really?
Every once in a while.
Interesting.
It's possible. And those kind of things. I don't think there'll be that much crossover otherwise, other than the fact that they play in the same building. Honestly, I'd be kind of surprised if there was too much Moose stuff put up at all in the building. It's going to stay very Jet-centric. My main question is whether or not they're going to rotate center ice logos. I don't know if they will, if that's possible. Yeah. I don't know the dynamics behind that. They might just keep the Jets logo. Yeah. If it's worth the money to keep changing or not, I have no clue. I hope they do, because I feel like that kind of takes away from it. But at the same time, if you're a player, seeing that Jets logo all the time when you're playing there would kind of be a good motivator, right?
Yeah, that's fair, for sure.
And just being able to watch them. Otherwise, I feel like the Moose will be used for a lot more community stuff, because it is the AHL, and that's how you grow an AHL brand, is introducing them around. The Jets, they do a bit, but it's not nearly as much as what used to happen with the AHL. The Moose used to do like community center breakfasts all the time and tons of family day events and all that kind of stuff, because that's what the AHL is. It builds itself off of community involvement and family stuff and all that. Like, they have afternoon games where they just sell arenas out to schools who come and watch their games.
So that's all mandated stuff?
I don't think it's mandated. I think it's just how the businesses, or the business side of it, sees themselves as being able to make money. That's how the Marlies sell out most of their... When they sell out games, it's usually their afternoon games. The Marlies do pretty well just because it's the Marlies, and they still get a decent press coverage because it's in Toronto and a lot of future Leafs and all that kind of stuff. But having those days where they get kids involved and getting... It's the same thing with the Bombers, right? Or what the CFL is looking at right now is they need to engage with a younger population and get people to like their product. They've done it with Joe and I with the Moose, and I don't know what your connection was to the AHL, but with me and a lot of my close friends, that's exactly what that's what we had for hockey growing up. So that's why I've missed them so much, because it was an affordable brand of very entertaining hockey that I love to go to. And that's why Joe and I were very quick to get together with a couple of their friends and buy season tickets as soon as we could, because we missed it. And we've both said since they left that we were going to jump on the opportunity if it ever came back, or if they ever got a junior team. So it's just very... I like the brand of hockey. It's a little slower, and I think that's the big difference people will notice, is it's not as fast as the NHL game is, but otherwise it's great hockey.
Yeah, I don't remember how old I was when they were here, but I definitely went to maybe a dozen games in my life and thoroughly enjoyed it. I was at the point where every game I would buy the puck of the opposing team, because I used
to do that too.
I loved their logos, right?
Yeah. Like, it's cool. They have fun in the AHL.
Yeah, right. And I didn't know the difference between that and NHL hockey. To me, like, it was just... Like, it still seems fast in person to me.
Oh, yeah. It's still professional athletes, right? And again, like, I have a Corey Schneider bobblehead from when he was with the Moose, and now he's a star goaltender in the NHL.
That's
like,
super
Ryan
cool.
Kessler played with the Moose. Alex Burrows played with the Moose. Like, there's a lot of... Michael Grabner was a outstanding player with the Moose. Like, going back... I spent my 18th birthday at a Moose game. Like, and I think I've talked about it on the podcast again before. One of my first amazing hockey memories is Jason Jaffrey in Game 2 against the Hershey Bears coming down. I was sitting behind Hershey's net, and he was coming down on my right, so it was the left side of the ice, and he took a clapper from just above the circle and scored with like less than a minute left to put the Moose up by 1. And the place was... That was the loudest I had heard the MTS Center until the Jets came back. It was amazing, and it's still great hockey. So I hope they're supported well. They're only selling the lower bowl, and it still gets loud in there, so... I'm looking forward to it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they
I think
pull
that's
curtains
probably
down in the upper... Yeah, so it doesn't... Like, they don't want to just sell out the upper bowl so it looks empty, obviously. Yeah. So they sell very affordable tickets. I think we split our season tickets 5 ways, so each of us are either getting 7 or 8 games, depending on how it breaks up, and it costs us in P2, so we're sitting lower bowl, We deliberately went for row 14 just so you can see everything nicely. In section, I think 107 or 117.
That's on the sides.
Yeah, it's like in the attacking zone, just inside the blue line is where we are, and it was $300 a piece.
Okay.
Like that, when you break that down, that's like less than $20 a game. Like, it's crazy. It's
more affordable than a Bomber game.
I can't buy 2 tickets to the Jets for $300.
No.
Like, so I love the product, so I'm excited for it.
And you know what? Like it really comes down. Everyone says like, oh, there's nothing they do in Winnipeg. Like, screw you, whoever's saying that. You're just not creative enough.
Yeah.
But it does give you something else to
exactly.
do.
It's another. Right? It's something we used to do on just a random night. If we had nothing else to do, it's like, okay, let's. Especially when you were a teenager, there was nothing really to do. As a teenager, I will say, there's very little to kind of find for yourself to do.
Well, you can't freaking drive it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A Moose game was a perfect solution for so much of that until we turned 18, because you could just go watch a hockey game. You could afford it, and you could go and hang out with all your boys, and it was great. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, so. I'm excited they're back, and I'm not the biggest hockey fan, and I'm pumped they're back. I think it's great for the city.
Yeah, exactly. Also great for the city. The fact that you can drink at the Forks now. Did you hear about that?
No way.
Yeah, they're inside the main building there. They got the liquor license, whatever. People there, they've reshaped their licenses. So in the fall, I think when they're fully renovating, I think, throughout the summer, and they're going to reopen a bunch of spots in the fall. And on that like first level of the indoor spot, it's going to be like an open license. So you can buy and just walk around the bottom floor inside the building with open alcohol.
I wonder what they would have to, they would probably have to build a fence to let you go outside in like the foyer kind of thing.
Possibly.
Like under the big tent?
No, it's going to be like in the building itself.
Right. I know what I'm saying is that like I wonder what they would have to do to make it so like, because like there's that big general area between the two buildings.
Yeah.
Like right under the tent.
Yeah, I wonder if they'd ever try to expand it to outside.
They would probably, I guarantee it has to be fenced.
Yeah, but I don't think they'd ever do that, because then you have to have security and all that stuff. They're probably going to have security at all the entrances now. But it's still, being able to go there in the winter and just hang out in there, they're purposely opening like wine spots and craft brewery dispenser, like places and stuff like that, right? So you can go and just chill with people and hang out, because they have no foot traffic in the winter.
Have you been there lately?
I usually get there a couple times a year. I haven't been to the Forks since I went to the Human Rights Museum this winter. But other than that, in the summer, I usually go a few times just to walk around.
Yeah. Or
when there's big events and stuff like that. So, yeah, it should be good.
Do they still have beaver tails there?
I don't think so.
No.
I didn't see it. Like, they have mini donuts all over the place, but I've never. Beaver tails just don't seem to be the Winnipeg thing. I don't get it. Okay, there's a couple other things I want to get to. The rest of it we can talk about some other time, because do I want to make this argument now? No, we'll talk about this when George's back. Paul Maurice was not even named a Jack Adams finalist. Yeah, surprising, I know.
I can understand why you have a gripe with that.
I do have a serious gripe with that.
I'm actually kind of upset about that.
Exactly, it's ridiculous. He's not even a finalist.
How many finalists? 3 or 5?
Three.
Okay.
Hartley from the Flames, Vigneault from the Rangers, and Laviolette in Nashville got the nominations.
Is it Vigneault's first year there?
No. Second. It's his second year there. It's Hartley's second or third year in Calgary.
Yeah.
I understand why he kind of got one, but I still don't think he was above Paul Maurice's stature in Winnipeg.
Who's the third one?
Peter Laviolette, who took the Preds this year. He was hired there this year. They were a great team. Anyways, I want to have this discussion with Joe
for sure
here, because I know he's going to have some thoughts on this, and then we can all three talk about it. But just want to let you guys know we will talk about it, and I think it's stupid that he wasn't a finalist. You can voice your opinions to us at JetStream Pod on Twitter, and then we'll have a big discussion about it when Joe gets back, because I want to hear what his thoughts are. I have a feeling he might be that guy who's just like, you know what? It's not the end of the world, but it's stupid in my opinion. What I want to talk to you about, Neil.
Oh, I'm excited about what you're going to say. I have no idea.
The other day, watched TSN. I keep track of basketball every once in a while.
Okay, I like where you're going here.
There's a couple things that have happened with a certain man named Paul Pierce recently that doesn't seem to happen very often in the NHL. And I think you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm just so glad we're talking about this on a hockey podcast.
Paul Pierce hit a game-winning shot against. They're playing Atlanta right now. Right?
Yes, they are.
Yeah. The Atlanta Not Thrashers.
The Hawks.
Hit a game-winning shot, and obviously the place goes nuts. And it was, great. And they rush over to do an interview with him, and they're doing a quick little interview with him. And who was it? Steven something that does the interview?
I'm trying to think. I can't think off the top of my head who it was.
Anyways, he asked him, did you call bank? Because basketball thing, if you hit a bank shot, you should call bank. That way people know you did it on purpose. And
Off
Paul
the
Pierce,
backboard, hockey
exactly.
fans.
Yeah, sorry. Paul Pierce looks right at him and says, no, I called game.
Amazing.
And that's great.
Amazing.
And it was all over the internet, and it was great.
Oh.
And the first thing I thought of was, if he was in the NHL, he would have been ripped to shit for saying that, which is awful because that was great.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there thinking, when is the last time any NHL player has shown that kind of stuff? And then obviously Ovechkin went out like the next week and called that they were going to win Game 7, and they didn't, unfortunately. But that was cool. But I just don't get why in hockey that seems to be such a bad thing, because it was great publicity. It was fantastic.
Yeah, of course it was.
And everybody heard about it. So I just... Well, did anybody talk negatively about it in the NBA? Like,
No,
did you
not
see
at all.
anything? Like, even though he straight out like called them out?
Nope. I didn't see one negative comment. Everyone was excited.
Exactly, because
Everyone
it's
was like,
so funny.
That is just so baller.
Exactly. You hit a game-winning shot, and you're just like, yeah, call game, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, suck it.
Amazing.
And I instantly thought back to when they eliminated the Raptors.
Oh,
Didn't he just go crazy on Twitter, and he like called out Drake and called out Toronto?
He has been the off-court, and he's been very, very good in the playoffs, but he's been the off-court MVP, hands down. It all started when he had a sit-down interview with Jackie McMullen, phenomenal journalist out in Boston with ESPN, and he had an interview where I think he called out maybe a dozen people in the NBA, including people he used to play with, like Ray Allen and Rondo, and then people who he does play with John Wall and Bradley Beal. And
he called like his own teammates out?
Yeah. And he says like they don't work hard enough in practice, and like all of these things they ended up working to his favor, and which is what the story is kind of being created into now. One of the things he said was he wasn't worried about playing Toronto because they don't have it.
I remember hearing that.
That's
and then
all he said.
And all anyone to talk to, they go to Toronto, they're like, do you have it?
Yeah, exactly. And Masai Ujiri, the GM for the Toronto Raptors, like he's notorious now for swearing in public forums and getting fined for it just to hype everybody up. And I forget what he said, like the exact quote, but he said like, oh, like we'll show them that we have it or something like that. And then they went in Toronto and absolutely bent them over, kicked the shit out of them, and their team's probably going to get blown up now. And then he went on to post I love this because I'm obsessed with Game of Thrones, but he posts like a King of the North of a photo of him in the Iron Throne,
which is awesome,
sitting there, and just amazing. I don't know if that was his idea or his PR team, but the thing is that like you can do all these things, but to back it up on the court, which he has been doing, and it's just such a fun story.
He's a superstar, is he not? Like he's like, I know he's getting older, but
he's
didn't he used to be
superstar.
amazing?
Yes.
Like,
oh yeah, he's one of the best players like in Celtics history. Like he's one of the for sure. And he is getting older, but in his twilight years, he's taken like a supporting role, which a lot of people are just like, good for you for doing that, because like a guy like Kobe, who he's going out like in an awful way, right? Like where he's just like, I'm gonna get all the money that's owed to me. I don't care about winning, like, even though he says that all the time. But Paul Pierce is like a guy where he swallowed his pride and he's just like, I'm gonna go to a team that needs me. I don't need to be the best player on the team. I'm just gonna play well for them, and that's exactly what he's doing. And they're in the conference, or they could be in the conference final soon. But I think that a lot of who he is and what he's done recently kind of went into that one thing where he said like, oh, I called game, where it's just like it was almost building up to it where we expected things like that from him, and that was just like icing on the cake. And then he had another chance of winning the game afterwards, wide open look, it was a much better shot than the other one, missed it, really close but still. And then he last night, which was even better, it was like 8 seconds left, he hit like a fadeaway three in the corner, and he turned to the bench. It was like the corner of the opposing bench, so Atlanta Hawks bench, and he said series. So he called the series, but like so they were up 1 and they ended up losing because they had a buzzer beater layup. But
that's what sells it, though.
Just the balls of that, and there hasn't been to my like I follow a lot of people in the NBA community, and there hasn't been one negative thing said about him, unless they just fucking hate Paul Pierce.
Which, again, that's the next thing I want to get to with it is, even if people hate you for it, please, like, you rarely see that kind of stuff in the NHL. Like, I think and the thing is, they say it on the ice. You know it.
Yeah.
Because Ovechkin, in game 1, scored on Lundqvist, and as he was skating by, they caught a voice clip of him saying, "All series, baby, all series."
That's amazing.
And that's great.
That's amazing.
But they used it against him sometimes. It's like, why? That's so good. And I just feel like, okay, I hate Brendan Gallagher with a freaking passion. I hate his face. I hate the way he plays hockey, even though it's great. If he was playing for the Leafs, I'd probably love him.
Yeah.
But I fucking hate him. And all I want is for him to come out and exactly perfect example is he came out and just said, "I hate the Toronto Maple Leafs." I would love it. I'd hate him for it, but I would love it because it just creates things. And I think the last time we saw it was Crosby straight up saying, and Joe pointed this out to me when I was talking about how no one ever does this, Crosby coming out and saying he doesn't like Philadelphia. That's fine. Good. We know you feel that way. Just say it. Justify why reporters are putting things in your face. Say what you feel. Stop being so automatic with it all. If McDavid doesn't want to go to Edmonton, pull a Lindros. Say, "I do not want to play there. I don't want to go there." I mean, lately they've done some smart things, but just say it.
Yeah.
It'd be great. I would love it. That's why people watch what they do. Why do you think Big Brother gets so many amazing ratings in the States? It's because people just say shit.
Well, they love controversy.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
That's what people eat up. You want to get more popular in the States? Let your players be assholes. Admit when they don't like a player. Admit when they don't like a team. It's like there's rules there to make sure you don't get murdered on the ice. Yeah, they aren't always called, but still. Yeah. Straight up tell me if you like. Fans in the cities will love you for saying it, and fans in the other city will hate your guts. And that's exactly what you need to build rivalries, is it not?
Yeah, for sure.
I get that afterwards you're like, okay, yeah, good match. I'm pretty sure I saw a recording of Paul Pierce saying he loves playing in Toronto because the fans are insane. Yeah. He's helped create that atmosphere because they hate his guts. You want to know why people always talk about the Jets fans? Because Jets fans are just insane and boo everybody. When Evander Kane comes back here, this place is going to go crazy. Imagine if Evander Kane was in Buffalo and straight up said, "Winnipeg was a fucking shit show. I hated that place." People here are going to hate him.
Oh, yeah.
People everywhere else are going to think, that is hilarious. And that's what's going to get people to watch a Buffalo Jets game on a Wednesday night in February. That's what is going to get people watching that game, is if Evander Kane goes out and says, "I fucking hate Winnipeg."
For sure. I couldn't agree more. Playing devil's advocate, I'm thinking that, like, as a player, why wouldn't I do that? And, like, especially for young guys when they're building a brand.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I understand why they don't. I just hate that that's the perception.
Right. But I love when guys, like Paul Pierce is a great example, when they get into their twilight years and they just stop giving a fuck.
Yeah.
And you're right when you said that this stuff happens all the time on the ice or on the court. Like, they're grown men, they're athletes, right?
They're competitive human beings. You know, I can guarantee you there's guys in the league that hate each other.
For sure.
Look at anybody in Dion Phaneuf. They all hate Dion Phaneuf.
Yeah.
They hate his guts.
Absolutely. We have Cleveland and Chicago on in the background. It looks like Cleveland's moving on to the conference finals. No surprise. But Joakim Noah, my favorite player in the NBA, has notably said how much he fucking hates Cleveland.
Exactly.
And he's talked shit about the city so many times. He's like, why would anybody come here? And stuff like that. But it gives people things to talk about. It gives the chance something to boo against.
Exactly.
And he comes out and just plays his ass off. And win or lose, that just builds excitement, and it gives the game more substance and meaning. Whether or not it's all fluff, like he might love Cleveland, but like it's the role he's playing, right?
Exactly. And if you ever play there, it might be awkward. You don't have to play there at some point in your life. You can not go there. It's possible.
Do you think? I guess I'm thinking that playing basketball is a little more personal as far as like how close and intimate the play is, like in physical, but there's a lot of there's downtime in the NHL or hockey in general where you do have time to talk shit and spit near your guys' skates. And
they get in each other's faces all the time.
Yeah.
There's literal scrums all the time where guys are yelling at each other. And if you ever anytime you hear it, if you're listening to a hockey game, you hear all the time. If there's a mic too close to a scrum, guys are fucking reaming on each other. It's insane.
Yeah.
And not to stereotype a whole brand here, but I'm pretty sure if you thought of all the hockey players you know, any of them played at an elite level, somewhat of a douchebag. Like, yes. I know most hockey players I know, any of them have played a high level, are at least somewhat douchey.
Yes.
And they have a lot of confidence in themselves, and rightfully so if you've played an elite level. I'm sure most athletes who've played elite level are pretty douchey at some aspect. These guys aren't all perfectly nice kids. Like, they're competitive athletes. If you've played a competitive sport, you've probably been an asshole at some point in your life on the floor.
Of course.
It's just the way it is. And
it's competing. We're humans.
Like, think of Corey Perry or Ryan Getzlaf right now in Anaheim. I want them to come out and be like, I fucking hate, I'm so sick of these stupid, like, if one of them just would have come out and been like, I don't know who these Jets kids think they are, but fuck them. And we're going to kill them because they have way too much confidence right now. That would have made that series, even if it was a sweep, it would have made it so much more insane. And that's how you build rivalries. Yeah. That's how you build things. And I see it happening on blogs all the time. Blogs going at each other. These guys are friends sometimes outside of the blogs. But if they go at each other just as fan bases, it's great. Do it on a public forum and get your league noticed. You want people to start watching hockey? That's how you do it.
No doubt.
Not by letting them fist fight each other.
So going back to your original question then, why do you think that happens much less in the NHL publicly? Than
media training,
yeah,
things like that. Like, there's a reason it's all cliches. And I've seen development camps before, and anybody who tracks the development camp at all knows that there's, like, the first day of development camp is media training,
right? And
how to deal with this and how to answer. And there's a reason all their answers are recited, and it's all the same. They're taught from the second they're in the league to not say anything negative. And I think it's just years of hearing people getting chastised for it and people getting picked apart for it and all that stuff, and they're either afraid to or they just don't want to. And it sucks because they feel it, and it just takes to the bitter end for them to say something, and anytime they say something off script, they're ripped apart for it, and guys tell them to shut their mouths and all that stuff. I wish it wasn't like that. I want to hear that stuff.
Too sensitive.
And I feel like everybody wants to hear it, but they just feel it's like it's their responsibility to shoot them down for it because it's what they've heard before, and now X reporter finally has a voice to be that guy to say this guy's stepping out of line and sound like an important guy. Yeah. Like, it's so lame.
I've said this multiple times on multiple podcasts, but I will pay a premium, and I know this will happen one day. I have no idea when, hopefully sooner rather than later, to pay for court sounds and turn off the broadcasters. Some broadcasters are phenomenal and really add to the game, but in the NBA right now, I really think it's probably around like a 70-30 as far as like having bad guys and good guys. Yeah. And I would love to just hear what LeBron James is saying all the time and what he's saying to Joakim Noah and stuff.
You get it in the game the entire time. If you're sitting courtside, just give us a mic there.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a tip for people that are up there or out there that want to try that. You can turn off your center console if you have like 5.1 surround sound or 7.1, whatever it may be.
And the main voices disappear.
And yeah, it gets this. It's still there, but it's much more pronounced as far as the court sounds, which is pretty cool. But I would love that, and I think the more of that, the better. Hopefully it does get more relaxed, but I couldn't agree with you more. Like, I think, Paul, like, the fact that you brought this up shows so much about just the small thing Paul Pierce said, right? That just
we're talking about on a hockey podcast in Winnipeg.
Yeah, right?
It's like, and think of, like, if you want to go local, think of Milt Stegall back in the day. The guy was the cockiest. He still is.
Yep.
It's just his personality. And yeah, he backed it up huge. He was a superstar. But he would sit there and be like, I think he has like the 7 guarantees in life. And the first 3 are like death, taxes, and what's the other guarantee in life?
Touchdowns? I don't know.
No. There's like basic ones. Death, taxes, and something else. And the rest of them is like, Milt Stegall will always look good. Milt Stegall will never be late. Milt Stegall will always be in shape and something. And it's all just like, yeah,
that's
Milt Stegall. That's who he is.
Yeah.
He's this huge, like, yeah, I'm awesome. I am the best that you can get to. And he let people know it, and he talked all the time, and it was great. That's how you build the CFL, too, is be these huge, talkative. Look at Odell Willis.
Yes.
When he was here.
Yeah, that's a good example.
And the fact that as soon as the Swaggerville thing took off like crazy, soon they started losing, everyone's like, that's inappropriate, blah, blah, blah. And I get it, but at the same time, it sold merchandise. It sold so much merchandise, the players themselves were making more money selling it out of the back of their cars.
I've never been a bigger Bomber fan than Swaggerville.
Exactly,
And
because it was fun.
I met, I think his name is Jonathan Hefney.
Yeah.
At Earl's to get my shirt. Because he was just there selling them.
No, exactly. That's what they did. They sold them out of the back of their... Until they came down and were like, you guys legally can't do this. And then they had to stop and the Bomber store started selling them. But, yeah, it was fun to be a Bomber fan for that period of time. Because they were cocky and they weren't letting anybody push them around. And people bitched about it for a while. But you know what? I love it when teams are like that. And I'd love it if more hockey teams were like that. If they were like, you know what? We're the goddamn LA Kings. Or... Chicago Blackhawks. We are the motherfucking Chicago Blackhawks. Don't mess with us. If Patrick Kane came out and said, I dare you to try to stop me in a shootout, what are you going to do about it? You don't want him to be happy about it? Stop him. I dare you.
But that, like, I would tune into that.
Exactly.
If I heard someone said that and they were going into a shootout, I'm assuming I would see it on Twitter with the guys that I'm following. Yeah. Then I would be like, yeah, I'm going to tune into that.
How many people outside of Winnipeg are going to give a flying shit about Evander Kane's return to Winnipeg?
Yeah, that's
like
true.
6, maybe.
Very few.
But if Evander Kane in the offseason comes out and says, I fucking hate Winnipeg, I'm glad to be gone there, they can suck a dick. That will be a national broadcast, and people will tune in everywhere to see what happens.
Just
and
curiosity.
See how crazy the fans go when he gets back and how loudly he gets booed. I want him to. And I feel like he's the perfect guy to do it. We talked about it before he got traded. He should embrace the villain role. That's a perfect opportunity to embrace being a villain.
Absolutely. I was excited for it. I thought he could have. Just because he got to the point where whatever he did, whether it was good or bad, it always just turned to shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because Winnipeg, for the most part, just had this filter on the guy that he just wasn't a good guy. So embrace it.
Exactly.
Right?
And let's get some more that are around the league. Yeah. Don't think he's a good guy? Embrace it. Be a dick. Go ahead. It'll be awesome, and that's what gets you talked about in the States, and that's how you expand your brand. Do you think the NBA has gotten so huge because they let everybody be a nice guy? Like,
no.
Do you think the NBA got big in Toronto because Vince Carter was a great human? Or because they won a lot of games forever?
Wasn't that's for sure.
Exactly. You built these stories and all this other stuff, and yeah, Vince Carter was a great basketball player for a couple of years, and then everyone thought not people in Toronto, but a lot of people thought it was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious. Looking back, it's so funny the way he screwed him. And yeah, he's not a great person, and for what I remember from that entire situation.
Oh, yeah, well, his exit was really tough to swallow.
Think about how big of a story is when LeBron James just left Cleveland and went back to Cleveland. That's a huge story.
We live in a wild world.
It's crazy.
It's actually so hard to believe that you said that. I almost forgot that he came back.
Exactly.
And there he is, like.
And now he's taking them to the conference final.
On by himself.
Justin Rowan would not agree with you there. He loves Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, Kyrie Irving is broken though right now. That's
what I'm saying.
That. No,
didn't know that.
No, Justin, listen, Kyrie's amazing. Like, he is broken right now, and everybody knows that. He's not playing this game. Like, he went out with like some sort of, I don't know. He's hurt everywhere.
It's the worst.
But I'm glad you brought that up. That's hilarious. Shout out to Paul Pierce.
Yeah. How long have we been going for here?
It's probably an hour for sure. 58 minutes.
58 minutes? I guess last topic was probably way too long. So you know what? I think I'm going to wrap her up.
Cool. Save it for Joe.
Yeah, we'll save all this other stuff for when Joe gets back. So yeah.
Okay,
we didn't have a lot of hockey talk today. I feel like that's okay. It was somewhat related to hockey.
Well, to be fair, if you're a Jets fan and you made it this far, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you for listening.
I hope that people, again, that's all the podcasts I listen to, like, I come in not for the topic, but for the people.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, me too. Oh, yeah.
So, no matter
I can't remember the last time Steve Daniels' podcast did, like, more than a quarter of an episode of actual hockey.
You want to hear what he says.
Oh, exactly, because it's entertaining.
Exactly. Entertainment, knowledge. What does Joe Rogan say? If you're not entertaining, inspiring, or educational, then why is anyone going to listen to you? So hopefully we're one of those things.
I feel like education was probably not it.
Yeah, not
Unless you wanted to learn about the Apple Watch, then we were pretty good to do.
Yes, that's true.
I feel like we picked the perfect episode to talk about that because Joe would have had none of it.
No, he would have been sitting there on his phone, just staring at us, doing something with his hand.
Like, what the fuck, guys?
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we'll.
I don't have the music, so I'll put it. I mean, it's probably going on right now because this is the next day and it's in post edit. But yeah, we're just gonna have to.
All right, well, thanks everybody for listening. If you want to get a hold of us on Twitter and tell us how awesome this Joe-less episode was,
What up, Joe?
at JetStreamPod, hashtag JetStream. Check out the website, www.jetstreampodcast.com. Send us an email, jetstreampodcast@gmail.com. Like I said, we're going to probably be without the video for a few episodes here. We'll keep going weekly. I think our next episode we're probably going to record either Tuesday or Wednesday night next week, just because, May long weekend. I'm not going to be around till late Monday. We aren't sure exactly how it'll work out, but sometime hopefully earlier into mid next week. If you want to get a hold of me on Twitter, it's at THRUBENIUK. Joe's at JW_Clark20, and Neil's at Neil Noonan, NEILNOONAN. Subscribe and rate us on iTunes. It's greatly appreciated. Helps us out so much. You guys have no idea. Actually, Neil told you all about it on the episode that I wasn't here. I finally got to listen to the end of it today. Finally listened to the end of it today. The rapid fire spelling bee was excellent, by the way.
Nice, good. You did pretty well. I think.
You did very well. I think you only got Perot wrong, actually.
Oh, okay.
No, he got Hellebuck wrong as well. Check out ArcticusHockey.com as well. We're going through season review things right there. I'm actually going to, near the end of May, have a goalie post, so check that stuff out as soon as it comes available. I think it's every day pretty much. We got something new coming. Thank you all for listening. Be safe on May long weekend. If you're listening to this before you leave, I'm warning you all now. There's going to be a more police presence. You shouldn't be drinking and driving to begin with. Really don't do it this weekend because you will get caught. Stay safe, enjoy everything, and hope you guys enjoy the playoffs.
I called game.